Let's see. What else we got? Imagine if Texas OU played in the playoff, made the Red River rivalry game look like an exhibition game. It'd be fun. I mean, it's like Alabama, Georgia, right? When they have crossers, it'd be a lot of fun because they play in the SEC championship game. Nobody cares. They play in the national championship game a game later after beating up on the playoff teams. I think it's going to take Oklahoma, and I'm saying Oklahoma because they're the closest to it, winning a national championship to change the perception of the Big 12. And they might do it just in time for conference realignment to begin once again. So it would be a lot of fun. I think OU and Texas are always going to play. They're probably always going to be in the same conference. Like, I would not be surprised to find out the SEC becomes a 16-team league. Actually, I kind of would. Because the Longhorn Network really messes up a lot of that. And that's getting a little bit away from football. But it would be a lot of fun to see OU and Texas play. Let's see. I'm out of the loop. What's the info on the kickoff times? I would just rewind the stream. Because I need to stop doing that. Don't sleep on Mario Williams. Y'all got a special one. No, you right. Mario Williams is going to be up against, I think, Theo Weiss on the outside or Drake Stoops on the inside. Drake Stoops, who was just put on scholarship, playing a little slot receiver for Oklahoma. Man, it's embarrassing what Oklahoma has, especially if you're playing 7-on-7. I mean, you got Austin Stogner out there, too, at 6'6", 245. And he might be Rattler's favorite target in 2021. Jot that part down. You return Braden Williams. You return Jeremiah Hall. My God. Like, you got Mikey Henderson, who could be tailback or fullback. Like, there's some dudes on that offense. And I didn't even mention Jaden Hazelwood. That's how loaded that offense can be. Cody Jackson. I mean, keep going here, man. They're ridiculous. Let's see. Yo, man, stop typing in all caps. Okay? I am not acknowledging any more all caps in the chat. That is screaming for attention. Chill that out. Let's see. Ryan Day is greater than Lincoln Riley. I mean, today he played in a national championship game. Like, that's not a debate right now. Nobody's debating that. As a matter of fact, both of the quarterbacks that Ryan Day has coached at Ohio State were first-round draft picks. I mean, Riley is basically, 2 for 3 on that? With Kyler and Baker going 1 overall and Jalen going in the second round. But I think if you're telling me that Ryan Day is better than Lincoln Riley, I'm going to tell you that pancakes are better than waffles. They're both good. Why do we need to challenge that? Why do you think you need to put that out there? Come on now. Let's see. I don't believe Notre Dame deserved to get into the playoff last year. Well, who the hell should have? A&M got beat. If you get beat, I don't think you should be playing for national championships. Till we find somebody, like, we had something like 7 undefeated teams going into the bowl season last year. Let me see if I can't count these up. We had undefeated Alabama, undefeated Notre Dame. No, we didn't have undefeated Notre Dame. They were a 1-loss team. No, now I think you got a point. Who will we put in there? Cincinnati? BYU? They lost to Coastal. They didn't lose till they got to the Cure Bowl. San Jose State? They didn't lose till they got to, I think it was the Arizona Bowl, the Ball State. I know that the answer that people usually give on this is Texas A&M, and I sort of get it. But I'm not all the way convinced that it should have been them either. Which is how people say there were only 3 good teams and somebody's got to have that 4th spot to just get rolled up by the 1 seed. But no, it's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. Let's see. Let me see. Marcus Major doesn't look. You haven't seen Marcus Major. You can't even really give an assessment. Like, we haven't seen that dude really run the football. Eric Fry. Where's the thing we don't talk about? If you know, you know. It's over there in my closet. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good way to get blocked in the chat, dog. Don't come at me with the personal attacks. You know, just keep it about football. You can't put A&M in. Well, again, like Robert, who are we gonna put in? Let's see. Cincinnati was more deserving of making the playoff than Texas A&M. I'd make that argument, but I'd be the only person making that argument. Let's see. What else we got in here? If Oklahoma plays in the national championship, do you think who will be their opponent? Man, that's interesting. Right now, I'm inclined to say Clemson, but Clemson might be a 4 seed or even a 1 seed, depending on how people feel about an undefeated Oklahoma team at that time. I think Alabama is always going to be there, but really I'm talking about the SEC champion. So it could be Georgia. And that's, you wouldn't have me turn down nothing but my collar if I got to see Oklahoma play UGA in the national championship game, because Oklahoma fans will be the first folks to tell you there are 2 teams outside of like the normal ones, Texas, Nebraska, whatnot, Oklahoma State, that OU fans absolutely, positively can't stand. One of those teams is Miami, because at one point, Oklahoma was on one hell of a tear. I think between 1986 and 1988, they lost 3 games. 3 games total. All 3 were to Miami. Away, a home, and on a neutral field. Depending on how you feel about the Orange Bowl. Jimmy Johnson loved beating up on Oklahoma with Miami because he got his butt toe up at Oklahoma State. But that's something else, because that's Oklahoma State, and it's really difficult to recruit there. But Georgia, you know how long I have had to deal with the Rose Bowl? Like, my friends constantly let me know what they feel about the Rose Bowl, and hey, how about that squib kick? And seeing Sam Pittman on that sideline alongside Kirby Smart, and knowing Jake Fromm is the dude they lose to with an all-time offense and a defense that just needed to be so-so. If you had the defense that Oklahoma had last year on that 2017 team, you can't tell me they're not playing for a national championship. So I would love nothing more than to see Georgia versus Oklahoma for all the marbles. That would make me so happy, right? Though I'm sure that there's an OU fan of a certain age that can't stand Clemson. Let's see. So give Oklahoma Clemson in the semi, and then give them Georgia in the final. That'd be a lot of fun. Says, go blue, Michigan, salute everyone. Hey, look, Les Toast is over here talking about Michigan, and I'm like, don't lose to Washington in the big house. Especially if Sam Heward is the dude that ends up being the starting quarterback for Washington, a true freshman. A really, really talented true freshman. But don't lose to that man in the big house, because it feels like the big house has been everybody's house here lately. Ask Michigan State whether or not they think the big house is, home base or not. Let's see. What else we got in here? Rattler Gina dominate. What? Who is Gina playing football? I don't see her on the roster.